be preparing for an opponent and have these guys on the road and put ourselves in a position to play another game. Certainly not the start we had hoped for or planned for. Give LIU credit. They came out and jumped on us early, and we didn't do a very good job of handling their press early. And they kept it on and turned it into a game where we needed to make some plays. But I was the thing I'm most pleased with is how we settled into a little bit of a rhythm. We got good minutes from some guys off the bench, and with Mark and Ramir in foul trouble, we were able to put ourselves in a position to win the game down the stretch. As we talked about, it's going to be a short-term memory here. We got to flip around and play these guys at 4 o'clock. But a lot of things. It's the first close game that these guys have played in. Certainly Pitt was a win that we had to start the season, and but possession game. Last possession, 2-3 possessions under 2 minutes, and you need those games so you can learn from them. We'll go back to the hotel, get these guys to take care of their bodies, watch some film, and get ready for tomorrow.
Corey?
What more can you really ask for when you've been off for a month than to have a shot for a 3 to take the lead in the closing seconds after the slow start that you had?
That's what I said. The effort. Ramir said that after the game. He said we battled. We came back and that game was 16-4. Very easily could have been 32-8. Those games can spiral. And the thing I was most pleased with, and that's happened to us this year. We've been close. At Liberty, and then it just got out of control. UMBC was close, and then it got out of control, and we were able to to weather the storm. But the thing that Corey, you mentioned, after a month layoff, against the team that was picked to win the league, and they're very talented, to be on their home court and put ourselves in a position late to win it was certainly a credit to those guys, and not hanging their heads. And I thought Ramir and Miles did a great job of leading the guys tonight.
We talked about this the other day. In a lot of these situations, when these teams are playing on back-to-back days, there are very few sweeps. How much, just because you just played them, how much do you like your chances tomorrow just because you have an immediate revenge kind of factor?
Yeah, I think we're going to have the guys' attention. So when we go to watch film tomorrow, they're going to be locked in. We don't have to spend as much time on personnel. They're going to know the personnel because they just played it for 40 minutes. And I think the big thing for us is being able to take the sting of this game and the loss, but be able to flip the page, because we don't want to feel good walking out of here with the loss. But we need to clean up a few things and not change who we are, but take care of the ball a little bit more, and certainly not put ourselves in a hole on the road against a very talented team.
I know you love talking basketball and your team, but I need to ask you about your university. The decision was announced today, no football. I'm sure you're close with Chris. Some other sports won't be played. Rob, you're a small school. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's an athlete. When a decision like that has to be made at a small school, what is the impact on campus?
Because it is, and it's such a large percentage of our student body is student athletes, or our student athletes. I sent a message to each of the coaches that were impacted, and just let them know that I was thinking about them, because and they're student athletes. It's not an easy time to be a coach right now, and want to know that, listen, I'm thinking about them, and that the leadership, and the positivity that's going to be needed at this point from the coaches is going to be even more critical. And certainly, Chris and I go way back, and the relationship that we have is one that I value at St. Francis, and I know his kids are close with a lot of our guys, and it's certainly not an easy time, and I know that it's not an easy decision for anybody to make. As you look at moving forward from what we're all facing, so I'm sure that there's going to be some healing that needs to be had. Obviously, there are going to be some kids that certainly we're looking forward to, and that idea of hope, is always out there. But as an institution, those decisions, and I've said it before, the decisions that have been made as it relates to basketball have helped me coach, and I know that the decisions that are made are going to be made for the best interest, not just of the student athletes, but of the entire population up there, because it is a close knit, because it is a small, personal, community where a lot of people are, have those relationships.
And one more thing on that, though, and again, I hate to go away from the game. You play basketball. College basketball is enormous in this country. And while we may understand exactly why the school made the decision, there are a lot of kids who are going to have their sports opportunity taken away. You think some of those kids might be saying, why does basketball get to play and we don't get to play? What would you say to, those kids?
Yeah, that's certainly a question that I'm sure some kids are asking. The big thing is that with regard to our sport, and our student athletes, we want them to be able to connect with other student athletes so that there isn't that feeling of animosity. They know that decision wasn't made by me or wasn't made by the players. It was made, and a lot of times above anybody at St. Francis. That was a conference decision. Those are decisions that are made outside of my coaching staff and outside of the people at St. Francis, and at a conference level and even at a national level. So that's the one tough thing that sometimes in the narrative it gets lost on who makes those decisions on who's playing and who's not playing. Sometimes it is institution, sometimes it's league driven, and sometimes it's a bigger picture as we look at the nation at large. So I certainly feel for those student athletes. Not just at St. Francis, but all across the country, high school student athletes. There's so many people that are being impacted by, this virus and their sport and their identity, Corey. So many of these kids identify as student athletes, whether it's a basketball player, a volleyball player, a football player, a swimmer. That's been their identity for so long, and to have that removed is tough. We had it a little bit this summer where we didn't have a summer, and we left. Now, we didn't miss any of our season, per se, with things being canceled, other than a few games, obviously with the virus. But everybody's kind of going about this. It's a tough time to be a coach, and everybody's had some sort of adversity to work with. But I know that St. Francis is a tight-knit community, and the coaches are going to do a great job leading their kids so that their best days are ahead of them. But it is a tough time for St. Francis, certainly for all student athletes at colleges across the country.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Corey.
I got one thing for you. So
Thanks.